Hello everyone, my name is Tayson, and this might be the first upload of my YouTube fitness channel. And basically in this video, what I wanted to show was, or what I wanted to talk about was, the things I've learned from almost 4 years of training experience. So my own training began in about the middle of 2022. And so ever since I've been consistent. I never took a break longer than maybe like 3 days on vacation. And as soon as I started training, I immediately fell in love with it. And I'm very thankful for everything that training has taught me. And I just wanted to share some of those things with you guys. So the first thing I guess I'll talk about that I've learned from training, but basically like lifting weights in general, is as soon as you start practicing good habits, like healthy eating, whether you want to lose weight, or for me, since I was skinny when I started, um, lifting weights and building muscle, is that time is immediately on your side as soon as you start good habits. What that means is, as long as you keep the good habits up, the more time goes by, the more that you will improve. So when you start practicing good habits, it's a lot easier to look forward towards the future. And for me, that was like I just kind of lived like a day at a time. But when I started lifting, basically it just made it so that I always looked forward to the next session. I always look forward to the future, like time. You want it to be working with you, because if you're living a lifestyle of bad habits and you're like unhealthy eating, not exercising, time is not on your side, it's against you. So the future is going to look bleak. But if you're practicing good habits, the more time goes on, generally, the better you'll be in the long run. Another thing I learned from my experience of strength training and muscle building so far is that you can't rely on other people most of the time. What that means is you can't it's like about self accountability. You like you have to want it. I don't really know how to explain it, but no one could like hold your hand every day, every session. You have to want to improve yourself. I've like tried to teach or help people who wanted to like start their fitness journey, but no matter how hard I've pushed them, if they don't want it, you can't do anything about it. And so when it comes to your own personal goals, you have to want it, and you can't always rely on others. Like if you had plans to work out with someone, um, you can't always rely on them to show up. They might be busy. They live a completely different life than you, so you can't always rely on other people to be there. You can also apply that not just to training, but to diet, obviously. You can also apply that to other aspects of life, whether it's like career related, or maybe it's like, it can literally be anything. So, yeah, motivations comes from within, and it's not really motivation, it's discipline is the word. Um, at the end of the day, if you want to build a strong body yourself, you want to build something like a business or maybe something else you want to be proud of, you're gonna have to do that alone. Like for me, like most times I've been by myself training. Like I don't usually train with other people. I do sometimes, but for most of my training journey, I've lifted by myself. So you really have to hold yourself accountable. Another thing I've learned, and probably one of like the harshest truths about improving yourself, building a strong physique, an impressive body in general, is that like the more impressive you look, the more you intimidate other people, especially mostly just talking about other men. Um, there'll be times when like other men will be very insecure around you, and they'll say things to try to discredit your achievements because you're an outward reflection of the discipline that they don't have, and they know it. So when you'll start to notice that people act different around you, and sometimes these things will be subtle. So like for example, what I've experienced before, like at my gym is, or like anywhere, even outside the gym, is like someone will ask me how much I lift on exercise or whatever, like my max. And since I primarily focus on powerlifting training, it's generally like a bit better than like average. And so what they'll be like is like, oh, my friend lifts X amount more than you. Like, do this way. It's like more than what I did. It's like, okay, but what about you? Like, you just said that because you're trying to make me feel less because you know that because you're just insecure around me. And I've experienced this on multiple occasions. Or another thing that like happened. This is like a recent story happened the other day. I went for a 1 rep max on the deadlift, and I had a few people watching me. And afterwards, one of the people watching me told me that he was a firefighter, and I was like, oh, I'm interested in maybe pursuing a career in fire as well. And he had just witnessed me deadlift and hit a max that was pretty decent for my size at least. And he was like, in the fire department, they care more about endurance than strength, right? And I was like, okay, but what if you have both? Like, why would you say that? You just said that because you're just feeling insecure now because I'm stronger than you, and I'm like 10 years younger than you. So sometimes you start to notice people will start to act very insecure around you. So you just have to ignore it. It's annoying, but it's just how the world is. Another story, very similar. Also, another firefighter. I was at like a volunteering event, and my dad is very proud of me. Very lucky to have him. But he was showing like another like firefighter a video of like me training, and like some like an out of like really like out of shape like firefighter came over, and I think in the video I was like squatting like 400 pounds for a few reps, and it's like nothing super crazy, but it's like more than what the average person can do. And I'm guessing it's probably more than like what this guy could do if he even worked out at all. And he was like, the only lift that matters is like a deadlift. You're never gonna be squatting. And it was like why do people say things like that? Like it's all out of insecurity. Like they just say things to discredit what you've done, your achievements, because they're insecure about themselves. And like I just always experience this. So I think the best thing you do is you don't, because most men are very insecure. So don't even like go out of your way to talk about things you've done unless you're asked about it. And that's pretty much how I proceed. And I'm now really seeing how bad my hair looks. I just woke up from a nap. It's Sunday, so I was resting. But on what I want to say now is like on the other hand is that most people genuinely treat you better when you have like a very built physique. Like basically what I mean by that is most other men generally aren't gonna be rude to you face to face when you physically outmatch them most of the time. And most of my life, I was not the biggest dude. I think I was like 150 pounds when I started lifting at 5'9", so like medium height and pretty thin. But I think when I put on a significant amount of size, I noticed that people don't really like mess with you like that, which makes sense, right? And like I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy because I'm not, and I'm not that big. I'm not that big, but I'm just saying is like I've noticed a significant change in how I've been treated compared to when I was thin and like now. Like even in like school, like, a few times like I got like everyone gets like picked on at some, maybe not everyone, but like I did. You get picked on a little bit, like I did in high school, middle school, but now I never get picked on, and I think my physique is like the reason why. And I think maybe like the best thing I've learned is how much you can change as a person when you really put in the work. Like before I like started training and just before I had like self-discipline, I was probably just like another one of those dudes. Like, I was like insecure. I was, just average. And now, after years of training and seeing myself change so much, I have so much more confidence in myself in some aspects. Maybe not like like I'm not the best like talking to girls and stuff, but like out in the world, I'm very confident in myself. Like I know I can handle myself and that I can pretty much do most physical tasks that I'd face in the world. And I'm not like I feel like I just walk around differently now than I did when I was before I started training, if that makes sense. The other thing I've learned, and this is really just like gym related, is you can't obviously you have to play the hand you're dealt. And what I mean by that is we don't pick our parents, we don't pick our genetics, and I really wish more people wouldn't use the genetics as an excuse not to train. Because your genetics, all they do is they play a big factor in the progress you're gonna make in the gym and your potential for strength, your potential for size, and but it really comes down to your mindset because all your genetics will do is determine your maximum potential, but it doesn't mean genetics stop you from making progress. Like someone with better genetics than me might hit a plateau, like a strength plateau at a higher level than me, or I might hit a strength plateau at a higher level than someone with worse genetics than me. But that doesn't mean that your genetics should stop you from trying, if that makes sense. And then I guess this will be like the last thing I talk about, but another thing I've learned is all the sacrifices it takes to make in order to see like significant progress, especially in like a shorter period of time. Like your progress is really determined by you, your choices, your actions, your decisions. And for me, I've always prioritized progress in terms of my body and my strength, especially. Like, for example, one sacrifice that I've chosen to make is to not drink alcohol. And the reason for that is because I believe that alcohol does impact your gains. It's proven to lower testosterone levels, and you can gain unnecessary weight drinking alcohol. It's also very addictive. And so that's just like one thing I've had to sacrifice. I have drinking alcohol several times and regretted it later, but yeah, I pretty much never drink alcohol. And that's like one example of a sacrifice I've made. Another thing that I've sacrificed, I don't know if I can call it sacrifice, but definitely started like I don't care as much about now is like partying. Like when I was younger, I was more into like going to the club or going to a party and like just doing a bunch of bullshit. But like now, I'd rather just like recover and like make sure I hit my protein intake than like bullshit basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm gonna post this on YouTube or not, but those are just some like life lessons I've learned from all the training experience I've had so far, and I can't wait to see what else I'll learn in the future. Thank you.